Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, June 14th, 2022. Time is 2:02 p.m. This is our weekly business meeting. Officially calling the meeting to order. Attending are Commissioners Duncan and Filios. Commissioner Bill Brooks is excused. And at this time, we will pause for 30 seconds of silence. Thank you. So thank you, everyone. Dorothy, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, do we have any changes to the agenda? We do.
Yes, we are going to pull a few items this week, 16 through 19, 21, and 28.
Okay, those items are being pulled. Once again, 16 through 19, 21, and 28.
Yes.
Okay. So off we go. Let's see. Okay, so the first item is to approve the minutes.
I
meeting
move
minutes.
that we approve items 1 through 8.
Second.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Filios,
Aye, and the motion is carried. Moving on to our consent calendar.
I move that we approve items 9 through 13.
Second.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Filios,
Aye, and the motion is carried. Payables list, please.
I move that we approve the payables for the week of June 6th through the 10th, 2022, in the amount of $766,746.69.
Second.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Filios,
Aye, that motion is carried. Moving on to the business segment. Item 15 is still active. That's an MOU to support clinical services in juvenile detention facilities with the Idaho Department of Juvenile Corrections. Is it Brandy who's going to be speaking?
Yes, Brandy Bradley for the record. This is our annual contract with the state of Idaho. It's just the grant funds that we receive to fund our mental health clinician, Robin Bessie's position. It's no changes this year. It's $100,000, same terms as before.
Okay.
What year are we looking where the funding is not going to match what it costs this year?
This year.
Okay. So you've put that in your budget to cover it, obviously. Okay.
Okay, motion, please.
I move that we approve the MOU for the support clinic service in juvenile detention facilities.
Second.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Filios,
Aye, and the motion is carried. Okay, so items 16 through 19 have been pulled. We move on to item 20. Ground lease, ALL-2022-1100. It's a lease renewal with the Panhandle Area Council, finally, PAC, in the airport. Stephen?
Commissioner Stephen Kjergaard for the record. This is a lease that we've been working on for a long time. This will be effective October 1st to match with their budget year and our budget year. The initial annual revenue charge will be $13,118.70. And four-year increments for 20 years, if I remember correctly, and then it'll move to market rate at that point.
Okay.
Stephen, remind me, because I think it's a regular clause, if any changes needed to be made in that first period, as long as both parties agree and there's a 30-day.
That's a standard clause for our agreements, yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, ready?
Okay, then, yeah, motion.
I move that we approve ground lease ALL 2022-110, which is the Panhandle Area Council.
Second.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion's carried. Item 21 is pulled. 22, RV Park Phase 4, change order number 1 in the amount of $7,184.18 with Stewart Contracting and our Resource Management Office. Kim?
Yes, thank you, Kim Riley. For the record, this is a deductive change order in the amount of $7,184.18 with the amended contract price $358,350.82. It also, the change order added 1 day to the performance period.
Okay. That's the
Okay.
kind of change orders I like. So
Motion?
I move that we approve change order number 1 for RV Park Phase 4 with Stewart Contracting.
Second.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion is carried. Item 23, financial budget, authorization to purchase vehicles for parks and waterways. Nick Snyder. Nick?
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Nick Snyder for the record. Before you is that vehicle purchase agreement that we discussed in our budget meeting, necessary for us to purchase one of the vehicles out of the pool that KCSO recently purchased from under that state contract pricing, which will allow us to guarantee our pricing today and help us ensure that we can actually get a vehicle. So the purchase amount is $34,665 coming from existing fund balance, which has been approved, I should say, or otherwise confirmed by the auditor's office that the funding is available.
I think Mike White wants to give us a big fruit basket for
Yeah.
I would say so.
all these purchases. So,
Okay.
all right, I'm good.
Motion.
I move that we authorize the vehicle purchase for Parks and Waterways as outlined.
Second.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion is carried. Item 24, bus stop improvements, change order number 1 for $6,470 with Interstate Concrete and our Resource Management Office. Kim?
Thank you, Kim Riley. Again, for the record, this is the other kind of change order, an increase, $6,470, bringing the contract price to $243,135.
Okay. How are we paying for this, Kim?
It's grant funded.
Oh, it's grant
This
funded?
is coming from, yes, the FTA grant.
Oh, okay, cool. Motion?
Do we, hang on one
go
second.
ahead.
Do we have a completion date on that?
We have, I've received a payout for substantial completion for the construction portion with Interstate Concrete on the Hutter and Celtice, and now they're moving over to the one on Atlas.
Great. That is such good news. It's like the PAC lease, something that just has been going on for years.
Keep dragging.
All right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yes. Okay. So I move that we approve change order number 1 for the bus stop improvements with Interstate Concrete.
Second.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion's carried. RTC Phase 2 construction contract with Idaho Construction and Development doing business as Idaho Stage Construction. Once again, Kim, for our Resource Management Office.
Yes, this is our contract with Idaho Construction and Development, doing business as Idaho Stage, in the amount of $1,302,600 for the construction of RTC Phase 2.
Okay.
All right.
Motion, please.
I move that we approve the Riverstone Transit Center Phase 2 construction contract with Idaho Construction and Development.
Second.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion's carried. Item 26, board approval request for the purchase order for a John Deere 310 SL backhoe with PAPE. Is it PAPE, Nick? Did I say that right?
Yes,
PAPE Machinery. Go right ahead, Nick.
like the previous item, Commissioner Nick Snyder for the record, this is a purchase agreement for your consideration in the amount of $125,180 necessary to purchase a backhoe. PAPE says that it should be in next month, which will help, again, ensure that we can afford the piece of equipment over the 2023 pricing, and, of course, ensure that we can actually get one. So it's actually good news. The auditor's office has confirmed the funding is in fund balance.
Okay. Ready?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
I move that we approve the purchase order for the John Deere 310 SL backhoe.
Second.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion is carried. Thank you, Nick. Item 26, board approval request for purchase, we just did that. Okay, 27, board approval request, MOA, with Idaho Department of Juvenile Corrections to support community-based services program and substance use disorder services program, our juvenile probation. Deb, go right ahead, please.
I am going to have Brian take care of this.
Go right ahead.
Commissioners, Brian Alexander, Juvenile Probation for the record. This is our annual renewal of the Memorandum of Agreement with the Idaho Department of Juvenile Corrections to support Community-Based Services Program and Substance Use Disorder Services Program. This allows us to apply for funding for individual clients who meet their criteria for treatment needs for things like substance abuse treatment, mental health counseling, behavioral addiction treatment, and equine therapy. In state fiscal year 21, we accessed just over $206,000 for the treatment needs of 87 of our clients through these programs. So far in fiscal year 22, we have had 82 youth access these treatment funds. We ask you to approve the renewal of this MOA.
Okay. Deb, would you like to make an announcement?
Well, I did for some earlier in the room, but Brian has been selected yesterday as my replacement when I retire on July 15th, so he will be the new Director of Juvenile Probation.
So,
Congratulations.
welcome, Brian.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sign your paper yet? You got it right there.
That's my next step.
That's it.
Yes, don't leave the building without
Trained
turning
you
that
well.
in.
Well, you brought it to the business meeting.
Perfect. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Go right ahead.
I move that we approve the MOA with the Idaho Department of Juvenile Corrections for the community-based service programs.
Second.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and motion's carried. Item 20, thank you. Item 28 is pulled. Item 29, board approval request for buildings and grounds for the JJC building roof, juvenile corrections, contract to tear off and provide a new roof. Take it away, Greg.
You guys approved this on 8/23 of last year. We weren't able to get any materials to do it. They can get the materials now, but there's been an increase of $10,265. So I'm just seeing if we can get it approved again so we can get started hopefully this fall.
And then this is, the addition is coming out of district court funds?
Yes, we already have the money for it.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay, motion.
I move that we approve the JJC building roof contract tear off and new roof, including the additional amount.
Second.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Item number 30, resolution 22-45, two surplus vehicles for juvenile detention. Go right ahead, Brandy.
Commissioners, we're asking that you allow us to surplus this vehicle. It's in ill repair, in poor condition. It would go to auction to see if there's anything that can be salvaged from it.
And I'm sorry, we could have just pulled this up to when you were already up here, so
That's okay.
at least we haven't kept you here too long. Okay, I'm fine. You good?
Yeah.
All right, I move that we approve Resolution 2245, which is surplus of a vehicle for juvenile detention.
Second.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Thank you, Brandy. Final item before our status review. Board approval requests for mid-year and out of cycle. Personnel requests, HR, Sylvia, and Dorothy.
Sylvia Proud, Director of HR for the record, and Dorothy Cross, HR Generalist. So what we have before you and have provided you is the personnel matrix guidelines that went into effect October 14th of 2021. Based on where we're at with budget planning, I was requested to put this item on the agenda for discussion on what items the board would consider or not consider for mid-year and out-of-cycle personnel requests for the remainder of fiscal year 22.
So I think I have boiled it down in my mind that I don't want to hear any out-of-cycle budget requests unless it's directly related to a hiring. Meaning, we have this person, we want to hire them, but they're getting hired at a rate higher than somebody in the same position, which is going to cause parity issue. So anything related to a hiring, if it's not related to specific hiring, then I don't want to hear it. We have too much going on, and we're looking at an $8 million wage increase countywide. So I'd like to stop all the one-offs if we possibly can, noting that hiring issues will come up.
I generally agree, but looking back, or looking at this sheet, help me out a minute here, Sylvia. So when we talk about AUD projection provided, oh, that's the auditor, okay. So what are we saying? Those
So
with all the
scroll down,
X's, go ahead.
Scroll down. Scroll down. Right here.
Out-of-cycle personal requests and bonuses, non-budgeted.
We've ignored that for 8 months.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yes. So I'd like to institute it, understanding that we are having hiring issues, and that should be the only thing brought before the board because we're trying to adjust everything else. Does that make sense? Jennifer, do you have a? Okay, you're good.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Keep going.
I would then recommend communication come from the board to
Yes.
countywide management of that strategy and the why. Also, so we would have you guys do that. There was something else.
So I'm going to put an email to you and Jonathan
Okay, that would
right
be
now
perfect.
to please figure out the wording together, and then the communication can come from
Okay,
us.
sure.
So,
Yes. The other thing is if someone comes to us with an out-of-cycle request, do you want to consider 1 liaison approval, 2 liaison approval, or would you like to discuss that at the next HR meeting?
What do you
For
think?
items to get on
2.
the agenda.
Let's go.
I think
Let's
we
go
need
2.
to.
Okay.
It's, what happens with each of us, and I'm going to be very candid, is I think when we liaison with certain groups, we develop relationships, and that has a tendency to soften us. And unfortunately, and again, fortunately, because the proposed increases that we're looking at are at a substantially record level. And so we need to be able to hold the line on the interim increases. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll build that into the communication
yeah.
for the board to sign off on
Yeah.
as well. We do have items already scheduled for June 23rd. I think those should be kind of grandfathered in as they had made the request prior
Yes.
to this date. And then anything else we get, we'll let them know
Yeah.
what the board's decision is.
Because what we're looking at is basically, if approved, going to go into effect in October, which is where we're mid-June. 3.5 months. It's almost upon us, or will be shortly.
Before we know it.
Okay. You have an email waiting for you.
All right, thank
Okay,
you so
cool.
much.
Thank you very much. And I put both items in there.
Yep. Okay. A short, very short
Well,
status.
except the agenda posted online has item 31, which is the purchase of Kootenai Electric, and that is my agenda here,
Oh,
but the
it's not
agenda
on mine.
the agenda we were given today does not have it on there, so I'm not sure why, but I'm going the one online.
We can go with that,
Can we
can't
do
we?
that?
Was that,
It's a discussion, isn't it?
Yes. Yep.
it's,
Okay.
Is it discussion?
Yeah, it's just discussion only.
Okay, cool.
So I sent you the email
got it.
again.
I got it.
So do we want to, and we don't have to make a decision until September, but Jennifer and I are going to go back to KEC on Friday, and I can look at specific things. Kootenai Electric has offered their furniture to us for the Kootenai Electric building at about $150,000 for the entire lot, which is probably going to be a pretty good deal. So, Greg, I'll offer to you too. I know you're swamped, but if you wanted to come out and look at the furniture, the quality and all that, and give us kind of an idea, then we can go that way. And then when I'll bring it back for another discussion item, and then we'll bring it back to purchase if that's what the board decides. Are you okay with?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think, given the potential retail cost, and who knows what kind of shortages we'd run into, and then the logistical nightmares, best to go with, I think, what's been presented to us. It's a big building, 56,000 square feet,
Yeah.
and that's just the commercial space. But that
yeah.
doesn't include the equipment.
I don't know, I think it's 92 employees. There's room for 92, so
Okay,
that's good, so.
all right then. So we're moving on to status?
Yes, so our pending item list, the only thing remaining is facilities expansion. And that one, we are waiting to hear from legal so we can start scoring the RFQ. We did receive 2 last week, Sletton and Boughton, who would like to partner with us and help build our building expansion. So kind of exciting stuff. And we've got our ARPA meeting tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. So that should be met with great anticipation and hopefully not a lot of angst.
So there'll be several of us scoring the 2 proposals, Steve Matheson, Dave Callahan, Leslie, and myself.
Yes.
And we should be doing that by,
As soon as legal gets back, I would assume that we'll hear before the end of the week if we are scoring both proposals or not.
okay then. So then that wraps it up. Public comment. Yes, sir.
Sir, you need to come to a microphone. You can sit at the table or you can sit
Sit
at
at
the
the table.
podium. Either way.
And just hit the button. There you
Yep.
go.
Good afternoon, my name is Paul Ellis. I had some questions about whether or not we have impact fees for building.
So typically this is just public comment, not back and forth, but
Okay.
I'll give you a little bit of leeway. We're working on that right now.
Okay,
We are in the process of, we're going to have a public hearing, I'd imagine, in the next 60 days potentially. Planning and zoning should be having their public hearing on June 23rd.
okay. I'm sorry, it might have been the wrong format, but I went to the assessor's office to ask them, and they didn't really have an answer. So I was
Right.
hoping,
It's a process, and
Okay.
so there's a couple public hearings that have to happen. Our comp plan has to be changed. So unfortunately, it should have been started probably 3 years ago, but nobody's got a crystal ball.
okay,
So, and it's not, all right, I do want to say this. Just because we've started down this path does not mean we're going to be able to collect impact fees. The cities actually have to partner with us to collect those fees for us. And the cities refused probably about 10 years ago, so we could not start collecting impact fees back then. So
right. And my concern is when you have large developments like in Coeur d'Alene on Saltese, that impacts the county sheriff's department as far as the jail.
Yes.
And I was wondering if we had impact fees that would allocate more personnel for the increase of people that are going to come.
Yes.
Even though it's not within the county.
Yeah, so the impact
Okay.
fees, it's not kind of a direct thing, it's a continuation of service. So if we have this level of service today, and then we have those 4,000 homes come in, then we need enough money to raise it to, the same
To
level of
maintain.
service.
Correct.
To maintain the same
Yeah.
level of service, yes.
Okay.
So that would be great, but once again, if Coeur d'Alene says, no, we're not collecting for you, then the county doesn't get to collect impact fees.
Yeah, because when I talked to the assessor, they said, well, if the city approves it, we're not even involved. And I said, how could that be? So I was just,
Yeah, and there's a
Yeah.
process. We have to go through public hearings. Well on their way at the present time are impact fees for, if I've got this right, Kootenai EMS and the fire districts, I
Yeah, all the
believe,
fire districts, but we're gonna be combining our public hearing,
with them.
yeah.
okay.
And just to give you an idea, for example, for Kootenai EMS, and I only happen to know this because I sit on the Joint Powers Board, for every new residential dwelling, they get $132.
Okay.
But it's going to vary with the other entities. I don't know what those are, but that's what it's looking like for EMS.
Okay, yeah, because I was curious based on the increased tax rate, although the assessor should have just told people it's going to be a 3% increase. It's not going to be a big deal.
Well, it doesn't work that way. So if, gosh, sorry.
It's okay.
All right, so our valuations and our budget, the larger the valuations, the more people share the budget,
Right.
right? But if your house only went up 50% and mine went up 100%, I'm going to be taking some of that burden. Doesn't matter what the budget did, I'm going to be taking, it's going to be a tax shift. And that's what's been happening in Kootenai County for the last, I don't know how many years, is commercial and ag are staying fairly steady and housing's going like this. So the housing is taking more of that burden.
Okay.
So if everybody in the county got raised, 80%, then no, nobody would be paying anymore.
Right.
And actually, the new growth and the URD money, we're not allowed to take 100% of that anymore.
Only
So that's
90,
going to
right?
be
On the
90 for new growth, 80 for URD. And so there, it's going to be spread out even further. So there could be people with a 50% tax, a 50% valuation raise pay less in taxes,
Okay.
even though their house went up 50%.
Got it.
So it's not cut and dry, it's not simple, and I'm sorry that we cannot get the word out better.
No problem. I was looking at just that their budget can't go up more than 3%, so therefore that would be the
So
money that would
it's
come
our
in.
taxing
the
portion
taxes that can't-
cannot go up 3%. So, yeah,
plus the levies of things that are approved.
Right.
revenues and,
Yeah.
yeah. So, well,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Okay, I've got 2:28. Jonathan, anyone? Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone. If you're attending, I'll